First contact and misunderstanding. The sleek Zarkon vessel glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to the primitive scanning systems of the blue planet below. Commander Vexlor stood at the bridge, his 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the holographic display of Earth. "Fascinating," he muttered, his tentacles twitching with excitement. A Class 3 civilization on the brink of interstellar travel. And yet, they remain blissfully unaware of the greater galactic community. His second-in-command, Zarthi, approached with a datapad. "Commander, our initial scans are complete. The humans appear to be a fractious species, divided into numerous nation-states. They've barely colonized their own solar system." Vexlor's mouth twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. "Excellent. They should be easy to subjugate. Prepare a small landing party. We'll make contact with one of their leaders and demand their surrender." As the Zarkon ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, cloaked from prying eyes, a young NASA technician named Sarah Chen stared at her monitor in confusion. For a brief moment, she detected an anomaly, a blip that shouldn't exist. But as quickly as it appeared, it vanished. Sarah frowned, adjusting her glasses. "Hey, Mike," she called to her colleague. "Did you see anything weird on your screen just now?" Mike shrugged, not looking up from his coffee. "Nope, probably just a glitch in the system. You've been pulling too many all-nighters, Sarah. Take a break." Sarah nodded absently, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something significant had just happened. Little did she know, her instincts were correct. The Zarkon landing party materialized in the middle of the United Nations General Assembly, causing immediate panic. Delegates screamed and scattered as the alien beings, with their towering frames and writhing tentacles, appeared out of thin air. Vexlor raised his arms, his universal translator converting his clicks and whistles into booming English. "People of Earth, we are the Zarkon, a superior race from beyond your stars. We have come to claim your world as part of our ever-expanding empire. Surrender now, and you may live as our subjects. Resist, and face annihilation." The chaos in the room intensified. Security guards rushed in, weapons drawn, while diplomats shouted in a cacophony of languages. In the confusion, no one noticed the calm figure of Ambassador Liang Wei as he slowly approached the aliens. "Greetings, visitors from the stars," Liang said, his voice cutting through the din. "I am Ambassador Liang Wei of China. While we appreciate your direct approach, I'm afraid Earth is not in the habit of surrendering to uninvited guests." Vexlor's tentacles writhed in agitation. "You dare defy us? We have technology beyond your comprehension. We could obliterate your cities with the push of a button." Liang smiled serenely. "Perhaps, but tell me, Commander, do you truly understand who you're dealing with?" Before Vexlor could respond, a shot rang out. One of the panicked security guards had fired, the bullet ricocheting harmlessly off the Zarkon's energy shield. In an instant, the aliens vanished, teleporting back to their ship. On the bridge, Vexlor raged. "The audacity, the foolishness. Prepare our weapons. We'll show these primitives the consequences of defiance." But as the Zarkon ship decloaked, ready to rain destruction upon New York City, dozens of objects suddenly appeared on their scanners. Satellites, long dormant, had come to life. Hidden weapon platforms, disguised as space junk, powered up, and from the dark side of the moon, a fleet of ships, far more advanced than anything the Zarkon had believed possible for humans, emerged. A transmission crackled through the Zarkon ship. "Attention, alien vessel. This is Admiral Helena Vasquez of the United Earth Defense Force. You are in violation of Galactic Protocol 7.3, unauthorized first contact with a protected species. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." Vexlor stared at the screen in disbelief. "Impossible," he whispered. They were supposed to be primitive, helpless. As the human ships surrounded them, Vexlor realized he had made a grave miscalculation. The galaxy, it seemed, held more surprises than he had ever imagined, and humanity was chief among them. The galactic threat emerges. In the aftermath of the Zarkon incident, Earth's hidden advanced technology and its status as a protected world under galactic law were revealed to the general population. The news sent shockwaves through human society, but it was only the beginning of the revelations to come. Admiral Helena Vasquez stood before the newly formed United Earth Council, her weathered face grim as she addressed the assembled leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, the Zarkon incursion was not an isolated incident. It was a symptom of a much larger problem that threatens not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. She activated a holographic display, showing a map of the Milky Way. Red dots began to appear, spreading like a virus across the spiral arms. This is the Void Collective, a group of aggressive, expansionist species that have banded together. They seek to conquer or destroy any civilization they deem inferior or a potential threat. Murmurs of concern rippled through the chamber. Ambassador Liang Wei leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "Admiral, if this threat is so severe, why haven't we heard of it before? And why hasn't the galactic community stopped them?" Helena's expression darkened. The honest answer, Ambassador, is that the galactic community is losing. The Void Collective's technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate, fueled by the resources they stripped from conquered worlds. Many of our allies have already fallen. Sarah Chen, the former NASA technician, now promoted to Earth's lead xenotechnology researcher, spoke up. "But surely our hidden fleet, the one that repelled the Zarkon, can help turn the tide." Admiral Vasquez shook her head. "Our fleet, impressive as it may seem to us, is but a fraction of the forces arrayed against the Void Collective. We've been kept hidden, protected, as a last line of defense, a final hope if all else fails." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, so recently awakened to its place in a larger cosmos, now faced an existential threat beyond anything they had imagined. Meanwhile, light years away, the Void Collective's war machine ground ever onward. On the bridge of the dreadnought Eternal Night, Supreme Commander Xarlox of the Vorthak species surveyed the smoldering remains of what had once been a thriving civilization. "Another world falls before us," Xarlox growled, his exoskeleton gleaming in the light of the burning planet below. "And yet, our hunger is not sated." His chief strategist, Zura, approached with a data crystal. "Supreme Commander, we've intercepted communications from the Galactic Council. It seems they're mobilizing a new defensive line in Sector 9. Xarlox's mandibles clicked in amusement. "Let them. Their efforts are futile. But tell me, Zura, have we made any progress in locating the humans' homeworld? The legends speak of their potential, their unpredictability. They could prove useful." Zyra's compound eyes flickered nervously. "We're still searching, Supreme Commander. The Galactic Council has hidden them well, but we did capture a Zarkon scout ship recently. Their databanks might provide some clues." Back on Earth, the United Earth Council grappled with their new reality. The revelation of humanity's true place in the galaxy had caused upheaval, but also a surge of unity. Old rivalries and conflicts seemed petty in the face of a cosmic threat. Dr. Imani Okoro, a brilliant physicist from Nigeria, presented her findings to the Council. "We've analyzed the Zarkon ship's technology, and I believe we can replicate and improve upon many of its systems. But more importantly, we've discovered something in their databanks about the Void Collective's power source." She brought up a holographic image of a pulsing dark energy core. "They call it void matter. It's an exotic form of energy that allows for faster-than-light travel, powers their weapons, and even enhances their biology. But it's inherently unstable, if we can find a way to disrupt it." Ambassador Liang interrupted, his eyes wide. "We could cripple their entire war machine." Admiral Vasquez nodded. "Exactly. But to do that, we need to get close to one of their major fleet concentrations, and that means coming out of hiding and joining the fight directly. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued for continued secrecy, hoping the threat would pass them by. Others pushed for immediate action, to strike while they still could. As the arguments raged, Sarah Chen stood up, her voice cutting through the chaos. "We don't have the luxury of hiding anymore," she said, her voice firm. "Yes, revealing ourselves fully means painting a target on Earth. But if we don't act, if we don't bring our unique human perspective and ingenuity to this fight, there might not be a galaxy left to save." Her words hung in the air, and slowly heads began to nod in agreement. Humanity had hidden long enough. It was time to step onto the galactic stage and show the cosmos what they were truly capable of. As the Council's deliberations continued, far above the Earth's surface, a lone void collective scout ship slipped past the outer defense perimeter. Its sensors probed the planet below, confirming what its masters had long suspected. In the depths of space, Supreme Commander Xarlox received the transmission, his alien features twisting into a predatory grin. "At last," he hissed, "the humans have been found. Prepare the invasion fleet. The Earth will be ours, and with it, the key to final victory." The stage was set. Humanity, emerging from shadows, would soon face its greatest challenge. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. And the Void Collective, confident in its power, had no idea of the storm it was about to unleash. Humans joined the fight. The massive United Earth ship Horizon dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Andromeda system, its sleek design a testament to the rapid advancements humanity had made since deciding to openly join the galactic conflict. Admiral Helena Vasquez stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling nebula before them. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the air. Her XO, Commander Rajpatal, responded crisply. "All systems nominal. Admiral, the Galactic Alliance fleet is assembling at the designated coordinates. We're receiving transmissions from the Arcturian and Centauri flagships." Helena nodded. "Put them through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing the alien visages of Admiral Xylar of the Arcturians, a being of pure energy contained within a humanoid exosuit, and High Commander Vex of the Centauri, an insectoid race known for their tactical brilliance. "Greetings, Admiral Vasquez," Xylar's melodious voice echoed through the bridge. "We are relieved to see that humanity has finally joined us openly in this conflict." Vex's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Indeed. Though I must admit, we had hoped your hidden fleet would be somewhat larger." Helena allowed herself a small smile. "Size isn't everything, High Commander. What we lack in numbers, we make up for in innovation and adaptability. Now shall we discuss the battle plan?" As the alien leaders began outlining their strategy, Dr. Imani Okoro and her team worked feverishly in the Horizon's advanced laboratory. The Void Matter Disruptor, a device that could potentially turn the tide of the entire war, was nearing completion. "Sarah, hand me the quantum resonator," Imani called out, her fingers flying over holographic controls. Sarah Chen, now serving as Imani's chief assistant, quickly provided the requested component. "Do you really think this will work?" she asked, her voice tinged with both hope and doubt. Imani paused, looking at the pulsing core of their creation. "It has to," she said softly. "We've run every simulation, accounted for every variable. If this doesn't work..." She left the thought unfinished. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Commander Patel's voice came over the intercom. "All hands to battle stations. Void Collective Fleet incoming." On the bridge, Helena watched as space itself seemed to tear open, disgorging a massive armada of Void Collective ships. At their center loomed a behemoth of a vessel, easily dwarfing even the largest Alliance ships. "By the stars," Xylar whispered. "That's the Eternal Night, Sarlox's personal dreadnought. We didn't expect him to lead this assault personally." Helena's jaw tightened. "Then this is our chance to cut the head off the snake. All ships, Assume attack formation Delta. Concentrate fire on their support vessels. We need to clear a path to that dreadnought." The space around the Andromeda Nebula erupted into chaos as the two fleets clashed. Energy beams lanced across the void, missiles streaked between ships, and fighter squadrons engaged in deadly dances amidst the larger vessels. The Horizon dove into the fray, its advanced shields absorbing punishment that would have vaporized lesser ships. Helena coordinated the human contingent with precision, their unorthodox tactics catching the Void Collective off guard. "Ma'am," Commander Patul reported, "the Arcturians have opened a gap in the enemy's left flank. If we punch through there, we might have a shot at the Eternal Night." Helena nodded grimly. "Do it, and get me a direct line to Dr. Okoro. We need that disruptor ready now." In the lab, Amani and her team worked with frantic energy, making last-minute adjustments to their device. "Just a few more minutes," she muttered, sweat beading on her brow. The ship shuddered as it took a direct hit, the lights flickering ominously. Sarah steadied herself against a console. "I don't think we have a few more minutes, Doctor." On the Eternal Night, Supreme Commander Sarlacc watched the battle unfold with growing irritation. "These humans," he snarled, "they fight like no species we've encountered before. Unpredictable, tenacious." His strategist, Zera, approached cautiously. "Supreme Commander, perhaps we should withdraw. We didn't anticipate the full strength of the Alliance fleet, and the humans' technology is more advanced than our intelligence suggested." Sarlacc's eyes blazed with fury. "Withdraw? Never. We are the Void Collective. We do not retreat. We do not surrender. Divert all power to the main cannon. We'll obliterate their flagship and crush their spirit in one blow." As the Eternal Night's massive weapon began to charge, casting an ominous glow across the battlefield, Helena received the transmission she'd been waiting for. "Admiral," Imani's voice crackled through the comm, "the disruptor is ready, but we'll need to get much closer to the enemy dreadnought for it to work." Helena's eyes narrowed as she saw the energy building at the front of the Eternal Night. It was now or never. "All power to engines and forward shields," she commanded. "We're going in." The Horizon surged forward, plowing through enemy fire as it made a beeline for the colossal dreadnought. Alliance ships moved to cover its advance, sacrificing themselves to give humanity's last hope a chance. "We're in range," Commander Patil announced, his voice tense. "But their main weapon is about to fire." Helena's finger hovered over the activation switch. Everything hinged on this moment. Years of preparation, countless lives lost, the fate of the galaxy itself, all coming down to this single instant. "Now," Helena roared, slamming her hand down. A pulse of energy, invisible to the naked eye, but registering as a shockwave on every sensor, erupted from the Horizon. It washed over the Eternal Night just as the dreadnought's main cannon prepared to fire. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a chain reaction, systems across the Void Collective fleet began to fail. Ships lost power, weapons went dead, and the feared Eternal Night itself began to list in space, its fearsome cannons sputtering out harmlessly. A cheer went up across the Alliance fleet as they realized what had happened. The void matter disruptor had worked. The seemingly invincible enemy had been rendered powerless in an instant. The turning point. As the Void Collective fleet drifted powerless, the Alliance ships moved swiftly to capitalize on their unexpected advantage. Admiral Helena Vasquez's voice rang out across the comms. "All ships, move in and disable their primary systems. Boarding parties, prepare for immediate deployment. We take that dreadnought today." The Horizon led the charge, its hull gleaming as it approached the now vulnerable Eternal Night. Inside the massive human vessel, Marines and specialists prepared for the fight of their lives. Among them stood Sarah Chen, clutching a portable version of the void matter disruptor. "I still can't believe I volunteered for this," she muttered, checking her equipment one last time. Beside her, a burly Marine named Jack Torres grinned. "Having second thoughts, egghead." Sarah shot him a wry smile. "Not a chance. Someone needs to make sure that thing works once we're over there. As boarding shuttles launched from Alliance ships, the Void Collective crews weren't going down without a fight. Even with their primary systems offline, they still had emergency power and a fierce determination born of years of unchallenged supremacy. On the bridge of the Eternal Night, Supreme Commander Xarlox raged against the turn of events. How did they do this? He roared, his exoskeleton crackling with unspent energy. Zyra, his strategist, worked frantically at a console. Unknown, Supreme Commander. Our void matter cores are intact, but it's as if they've been neutralized somehow. We're working to reinitialize, but it will take time. Xarlox's eyes narrowed. Time we do not have. Arm all personnel. If they want this ship, they'll pay for it in blood. The corridors of the Eternal Night became a battleground as Alliance forces pushed inward, facing fierce resistance from the Void Collective troops. The ship's twisting, organic-looking architecture made for treacherous fighting, with ambushes and close-quarters combat at every turn. Sarah found herself in the thick of it, her scientific knowledge proving unexpectedly useful in navigating the alien vessel. "This way," she called out, gesturing down a pulsing corridor. "If I'm reading these energy signatures correctly, the main reactor should be just ahead." As they approached the reactor room, they encountered heavier resistance. Void Collective soldiers, armed with close-range energy weapons, poured fire down the hallway. "Get down," Jack yelled, pulling Sarah behind cover as bolts of dark energy sizzled past. He popped up, returning fire with his rifle. "We're pinned down here, Doc. Any bright ideas?" Sarah's mind raced, taking in their surroundings. Her eyes landed on a panel near the floor, pulsing with a faint light. "Cover me," she said, already moving. Before Jack could protest, she had pried open the panel and was elbow-deep in alien circuitry. "What the hell are you doing?" Jack shouted over the din of battle. "Something stupid," Sarah replied, gritting her teeth. She connected her portable disruptor to the ship's systems and activated it. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like 1,000 nails on a chalkboard, the lights in the corridor flickered and died. In the sudden darkness, the Void Collective troops faltered, their energy weapons sputtering out. The human forces, with their more conventional firearms, pressed the advantage. Within minutes, the path to the reactor was clear. Meanwhile, on the horizon, Admiral Vasquez coordinated the broader battle. With the Eternal Night neutralized, the rest of the Void Collective fleet was in disarray. Alliance ships methodically disabled and captured enemy vessels, careful not to destroy the valuable technology on board. "Admiral," Commander Patul reported, "we're receiving transmissions from multiple Void Collective ships. They're surrendering." Helena allowed herself a small smile. "It seems even the mighty can fall. Accept their surrenders, but keep weapons hot. This war has taught us not to take anything for granted." Back on the Eternal Night, Sarah and her team finally breached the main reactor room. The chamber was massive, dominated by a pulsing dark core that seemed to drink in the light around it. "My God," Sarah breathed, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her fear. "It's beautiful in a terrifying sort of way." Jack kept his weapon trained on the entrance. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Now can you shut it down before reinforcements arrive?" Sarah nodded, approaching the reactor's control systems. As she worked, interfacing her disruptor with the alien technology, alarms began to blare throughout the ship. "Intruder alert!" A mechanized voice droned in an alien language. "Self-destruct sequence initiated." "Oh, you have got to be kidding me," Jack groaned. "Doc, please tell me you can stop that too." Sarah's fingers flew over the controls, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Working on it. But we've got another problem. The reactor's becoming unstable. If it goes off, it'll take half the fleet with it." Suddenly, the doors to the reactor room burst open. Supreme Commander Xarlox himself strode in, flanked by his elite guards. His eyes blazed with hatred as he took in the human intruders. "You," he snarled, focusing on Sarah. You did this. You and your primitive species dare to challenge the Void Collective. Sarah stood her ground, fear warring with determination in her eyes. We're not as primitive as you think, and we're not alone. The galaxy is filled with beings who deserve to live free from your tyranny. Zarlox laughed, a harsh, grating sound. Freedom. There is only power, little human, power that you cannot hope to comprehend. He raised a clawed hand, dark energy crackling around it. Time seemed to slow. Jack shouted a warning, bringing his weapon to bear. The Void Collective guards tensed, ready to fire. And Sarah, in that frozen moment, made a decision. She slammed her hand down on the reactor controls, channeling every ounce of power from the disruptor into the unstable core. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The dark matter at the heart of the reactor imploded, collapsing in on itself. A shockwave of energy radiated outward, washing over everyone in the room. Zarlox screamed as his body, so long enhanced by void matter, began to disintegrate. "What have you done?" he shrieked, his form unraveling before their eyes. Sarah stood firm, even as she felt the energy tearing at her own cells. "Ended it," she said simply. As quickly as it began, the implosion stopped. Where the mighty reactor once stood, there was now only a shimmering singularity, contained within the ship's fail-safes. The void matter was gone, taking with it the source of the collective's power. Jack lowered his weapon, staring in awe at where Zarlox had stood moments before. Is it over?" Sarah nodded, her legs shaky as the adrenaline began to wear off. "I think so. At least, this part is." She tapped her communicator. "Admiral Vasquez, the Eternal Night is secure, and I think we just changed the course of the war." As news of the Eternal Night's capture and the neutralization of void matter spread, the remaining collective forces began to crumble. Without their superweapons and enhanced abilities, they found themselves outmatched by the combined might of the Alliance. In the days that followed, the true scope of humanity's achievement became clear. Not only had they turned the tide of a seemingly unwinnable war, but they had also unlocked secrets of the universe that would reshape galactic society for generations to come. As the horizon made its way back to Earth, victorious but battle-scarred, Admiral Vasquez found Sarah staring out a viewport at the stars streaking by. "You did well out there, Dr. Chen," Helena said softly. "Your actions saved countless lives." Sarah turned, a mix of emotions playing across her face. "Thank you, Admiral. But I can't help thinking, what now? We've opened a door to possibilities we can barely imagine. How do we ensure we use this knowledge wisely?" Helena placed a hand on the younger woman's shoulder. "The same way we won this war. Together, with courage and compassion. The galaxy's watching us now, Sarah. It's time to show them what humanity is truly capable of." As Earth grew larger in the viewport, both women fell silent, contemplating the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. The war was over, but humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. A new era of cooperation. The Grand Assembly Hall of the newly constructed Galactic Cooperation Center buzzed with activity. Representatives from hundreds of worlds, some only recently freed from Void Collective control, gathered to discuss the future of interstellar relations. At the center of it all stood a delegation from Earth, led by Ambassador Liang Wei and Admiral Helena Vasquez. Liang stepped up to the podium, his calm demeanor belying the weight of the moment. "Fellow sentients," he began, his words translated into myriad languages, "we stand at a crossroads. The defeat of the Void Collective has left a power vacuum in our galaxy. We have an opportunity, and a responsibility, to forge a new path forward." As Liang outlined humanity's proposal for a more integrated, cooperative galactic community, Sarah Chen sat in the audience, still coming to terms with her newfound status as a hero of the war. Beside her, Dr. Imani Okoro listened intently, occasionally making notes on a datapad. "It's surreal, isn't it?" Sarah whispered. "A few months ago, Most of humanity didn't even know aliens existed. Now we're helping to reshape galactic politics. Imani nodded, a wry smile on her face. That's what we do, isn't it? Adapt, innovate, surprise everyone, including ourselves. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion near the back of the hall. A group of delegates, their features obscured by environmental suits, were arguing loudly with security personnel. "We demand to be heard," one of them shouted, their voice distorted by their suit's speakers. "The humans cannot be trusted with the knowledge they've gained." Admiral Vasquez quickly moved to defuse the situation, her years of diplomatic experience coming into play. "Please," she said, addressing the agitated group, "you have concerns. We understand. Why don't you join us up here and share them with everyone?" The leader of the group hesitated, then nodded. As they made their way to the podium, Sarah leaned towards Imani. "Who are they?" "Survivors from worlds the Void Collective destroyed," Imani replied softly. "They call themselves the Orphans of the Void. They've been vocal about their distrust of any powerful civilization." At the podium, the leader of the Orphans removed their helmet, revealing a face marked by bioluminescent patterns, a species Sarah had never seen before. "I am Zara," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "My world, like so many others, was reduced to ash by the collective. And now you humans, newcomers to the galactic stage, have unlocked power that rivals theirs. How can we trust that you won't become the very thing you helped defeat?" A murmur ran through the assembly. It was a fear many had harbored but few had voiced so openly. Ambassador Liang stepped forward, his expression compassionate. "Zara, and all who have suffered," he said, "your concerns are valid. Power, unchecked, can lead to terrible things. That is why we are here today, not to claim authority over the galaxy, but to propose a system of checks and balances." He gestured to the diverse crowd. "Look around you. Every species here has something unique to offer. Humanity's recent achievements are not ours alone. They were built on millennia of galactic knowledge and made possible by the sacrifices of countless beings from worlds across the stars." Admiral Vasquez joined him. "We don't seek to rule," she added. "We seek to collaborate. The technology we've developed, the discoveries we've made, we want to share them under the guidance and oversight of a truly representative galactic council." As the discussion continued, with various delegates offering their own ideas and concerns, Sarah found herself called to the podium. Standing before the assembled representatives of the galaxy, she felt a moment of panic. Then she took a deep breath, remembering the impossible odds they'd already overcome. "I'm not a politician or a military leader," she began. "I'm a scientist, and if there's one thing science has taught me, it's that the universe is vast and full of wonders we can scarcely imagine. The Void Collective sought to control and dominate. We have a chance to do something different, to explore, to learn, and to grow together." She held up a small device, a refined version of the Void Matter Disruptor. This technology ended a war. But more importantly, it opened up new avenues of research into the fundamental nature of our universe. Imagine what we could discover if we combine the knowledge and perspectives of all our civilizations. Her words seemed to resonate with the assembly. Even Zara and the other orphans appeared thoughtful. As Sarah returned to her seat, Ambassador Liang once again took the podium. "What we are proposing is not easy," he said. "It will require trust, compromise, and a shared vision of a better future. But I believe we are equal to the task. After all, we have already accomplished the impossible. We have come together to defeat a threat that no single civilization could have overcome alone." Over the next several days, the assembly debated and refined the proposal. There were heated arguments and moments of doubt, but slowly a consensus began to emerge. The Galactic Cooperative was born, a new organization dedicated to shared scientific research, cultural exchange, and mutual defense. As the final charter was signed, ratified by hundreds of worlds, Sarah stood with her friends and colleagues, watching the historic moment unfold. "So," Jack said, nudging her with his elbow, "ready for your next impossible mission, Doc?" Sarah laughed. "I think I've had enough excitement for a while." Though, she glanced at the stars visible through the assembly hall's massive windows. "I wouldn't mind seeing what's out there. For purely scientific reasons, of course." Imani grinned. "I might know of a research expedition that could use a few brilliant minds." Interested. As they discussed the possibilities, Admiral Vasquez approached, a proud smile on her face. "Well done, all of you. You've helped shape the future of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy." "What's next for you, Admiral?" Sarah asked. Helena's eyes twinkled. "Oh, I think it's time for some new blood to take the reins. I've been offered a position helping to coordinate the Cooperative's Joint Defense Force. It seems my experience with unconventional tactics might come in handy." As the celebration continued around them, Sarah took a moment to reflect. The journey from that first anomalous blip on her monitor to this moment had been beyond anything she could have imagined. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The galaxy was entering a new age, one of cooperation, discovery, and shared purpose. And humanity, with its unique blend of ingenuity, adaptability, and determination, would be at the forefront, not as conquerors, but as partners in a grand cosmic adventure. As she looked out at the sea of diverse beings, all working together towards a common goal, Sarah felt a sense of profound optimism. The future, with all its unknowns and challenges, beckoned. And this time, they would face it united.